Hello. Is this phone number by any chance Henry's wife's number? You go by Sandy, right? Hello? Do you have any idea what's happened with Henry? As far as I'm aware, Henry went to a class reunion for one of his classes back in middle school, right? So he's gone back to his hometown for it. Well, I happen to be one of his longtime friends and was in the same class as him in middle school. You can call me Emily. It's a really cute name, right? Your name is Emily? Well, I guess it's cute. But to be honest with you, I know hundreds of Emilys, and I'm not really sure the name itself is that cute. What a buzzkill! So, Emily, when are you going to get on with telling me why you're wanting to talk with me right now? Huh? I'm going to assume that you are talking to me right now because you took my phone number from his phone and copied it into yours? I happen to know Henry pretty well, and I'm sure he wouldn't just be handing out my information to you and ask you to text me. So can you please just tell me why you want to talk? For some reason, I'm getting a bad vibe from you. Well, whatever. I'll tell you what I want from you right now, then. And it's nothing that I really want from you, but rather what I want to tell you about me. I've gone and taken your husband home from the class reunion. Huh? What are you going on about? You have no idea. In other words, I'm having a little after party with him in this hotel room. That's all. Huh? Listen to this. At first, I was looking to take a completely different man away from that reunion to make my lover, you know? But that dick was with another old fart of a woman, and when I came over to talk to him, she began to bark in my face. Ugh. At that point, I was about to give up and thought me going to that reunion was going to be completely pointless. But as I was thinking that, I turned to see my old friend Henry. All that nasty skin he had on his face before, covered in all these little red pimples, had cleared right up and he was looking sexy. And as for those stupid little round glasses that he was wearing before, they'd been replaced by a stylish pair of brown J-bands. And his choice of clothing? Oh, perfect. Totally stylish. I knew this would be my only chance to see him, and so I made him my new target and started my hunt. And within a few hours, I had him in my grasp coming to this hotel with me. And during that time, did you know about the fact that Henry is married? I knew that, and I learned about it while bringing him to the hotel room. Actually, I've known about the fact that he's been married for a while now, as I still talk to his parents every so often. Anyway, I haven't seen Henry in over 7 years because he and I are just never around one another. And anytime I'm talking to his mom or dad, he's not in town. So you've done all of this while knowing he's married? I really wanted him to be with me, so I had no other choice. When I told him that he's my first love, he began to cry about how much he wanted to treat me nicely and hugged me as we walked to the hotel. And why are you telling me all of this now? Knowing very well that I'm his wife and that I have been married to him for a while now. You know why I'm telling you about this. There's only one thing I'd want, and that's for you and Henry to get a divorce. And then you can hand him over to me so that I can have him forever. You want me to give him to you? You already stole him from me. How could I hand something over to you, or someone, when you've already gone and stole them from me? I just told you, though. He's always loved me, and even though I told him he's my first love, he came out and said he had this huge crush on me back in school. In other words, that means he and I are meant for one another. And that also means that he's always been mine, so I didn't steal him from you. Now that we've run into one another again, and I'm with him now, I'd like you to give him back. So hurry up and get that divorce so I can have him. I guess if he's always had that crush on you, then he was never mine to begin with. So I get what you're wanting to say here. Now, I never really knew about how he looked back in the day, but these days Henry is doing pretty good for himself. He happens to work for a very large company that is partners with other companies all over the globe. I'm sure you already knew about that, though, as well. And about how he's expected to be bringing in around $100,000 a year now with his job. Well, of course, all of that only adds to how amazing he is. And that's why I'm in love with him. And he's in love with me because I'm cute and precious to him. No mistaking that. So, that means he has no need for you anymore. As long as you go through with a divorce, then everything about him will come to me, and I can finally have my man. So hurry it up and get that divorce, please. I'll give you an answer to that after I've had a conversation with Henry about all of this. He said he'd be coming home tomorrow, so I'll sit him down and have a talk with him. Please let him know that, since you're actually right there with him. Will do. But I already know that Henry wants this divorce, so no matter what you try to do, he's going to leave. Henry, right about now you should be back home from your hometown, right? Where are you?
I'm at Emily's apartment.
Is that right? So it's true then? That you ended up running into your old friend from middle school that you always had a crush on and she took you to a hotel last night?
I'm sorry.
So I can take this as you saying you want to get a divorce then?
Yeah.
You have anything else to say to me? Anything at all?
Well, when it comes to you, Sandy, you really are an amazing woman. You say that you can do anything and everything on your own, and that's no lie. You really are able to do everything. So, for myself, well, you happen to support me with both my work and with my private life equally. I'm totally thankful that you've always been there for me helping out, and I want you to know that, but when it comes to the person who knows me best and knows how to please me the most, I'd have to say it's Emily. Also, when it came to her, she has always been in love with me ever since middle school. And she just confessed that to me yesterday at the class reunion.
I see. So the reason you and her ended up being in that hotel room yesterday and why you're over at her apartment now is because you both have liked each other since middle school?
So, I want you to know that whether it was back in middle school or even now, I've always been thinking about Emily and have always wanted her to be my wife.
All right, I understand. But just because of that reasoning, I don't think we can get a divorce.
Why not?
Even if you and her ended up having a wonderful night with one another, this is a good example of you being unfaithful to me. So I can't just have this settled with a simple divorce. I'm going to make sure I have you and her pay your dues to me through settlements for this, and I'd like to tell both my parents about this and yours.
Well, actually, I was planning on doing the same thing.
One other thing. Since the both of us are working for the same company in the same office, I'm going to have to report what's happened to us to my manager. And I think you should be doing the same then.
Ah, that's right.
I think that you should be prepared to have a lot of people giving you the side eye and things like that after they hear about what you've done.
I guess there's no helping any of that, is there? All right.
Now I'm going to get myself a lawyer and we will sit down and discuss what needs to be done and go through all the paperwork. Once I've had time to talk with my lawyer about all of this and about the money that I can get from both you and Emily, then I'll go ahead and contact you again. Along with that, I'll hand in the divorce paperwork to the courthouse.
All right.
Sandy, thank you so much for getting that divorce with Henry. And by the way, I only just found out about this a little bit ago, but you happen to be 6 years older than Henry, and you work in a higher position than him with that company? That's right. I first met him when he joined the company, as I was in charge of training him, and after some time we grew closer to one another and got married. Well then, you're aware that he's in a much better place now being with someone like me rather than with some old fart like you. And as for yourself, now that you've been divorced by a younger man, that pretty much means that that's it for you, and you'll never be with another man again, right? But don't worry, I'll make sure that Henry is very happy with me and that you are kept up to date on that. Just make sure you don't get super jealous of us, all right? I'm not going to mind you sending me a text about how you feel as though you've come out on top over me. But shouldn't you be a bit more concerned about what's been going on with him? Huh? Oh, no way. Are you going to try and say to me that you know more about Henry than his longtime friend does? Well, I'm sorry, Sandy. I just got home from handing in our marriage papers to the courthouse with him, so this pretty much means game over for you. You've barely even been around him recently, and you're already jumping to marriage? You both haven't seen one another for 7 years, and you thought it was all right to just marry him like that? Are you both going to be okay? I feel like you two should have at least taken a bit more time to get to know one another again. Come on now. You're not going to ever get him back from me, so stop holding on to these feelings. Your time is up, you old fart. He's thrown you away for a much more cute and young girl, and he'd never turn around and go back to you. Hello? What do you want now? What the hell is going on here? What do you mean by here? I'm talking about Henry. What is all of this? Why the hell is this happening? Can you explain what's going on there in a little more detail? Why is he sleeping in so much? His alarm had gone off 4 times before he finally got up and started getting ready for work, and he didn't even bother to wash his face or shave. His hair is still a mess from the pillow, and he's just going to head to work like that? Also, why the hell is he farting so much all the dang time? And when it comes to his work clothes, he just takes them off and leaves them on the floor. Same thing goes for his dishes. He doesn't even bother to turn off the lights either when he leaves a room. And after using the bathroom, he doesn't flush the toilet. And what's worse than any of this? He doesn't even have a good sense of fashion. What the hell happened to the man I saw at the middle school reunion a while ago? Oh no, this is all happening a lot quicker than I was expecting. Huh? What do you mean? He already had problems when in the house with me, never having manners that you'd think an adult his age should have. But at work, he tends to be just as bad, never wearing proper clothing for the job and always farting really loudly in his cubicle. I'm going to assume that he never took his clothing chart with him over to your place? Or that he isn't even bothering to look at it anymore now that he's with you? His clothing chart? It's this whole grid that tells him what shirts go with what pants and about what ties to wear and what jackets. What? Was that all written down inside that sketchbook he had brought along with him to my place? That's the one. I'm sure you already know about how much of a slob he is when it comes to his manners, since you've known him far longer than I have. But he's especially bad when it comes to his sense of fashion, and that's why we had a chart made up for him. I made this whole chart for him that would tell him what clothes to go with what and what days to wear that set on. What? So then, that means that the man I saw at the reunion... You always said it like he had done that by himself, but in reality, I was the one that got him dressed up like that and made him look more appealing. What the hell? You are more than welcome to use that chart with him to maintain a good look on him that otherwise he will never create by himself alone. But I threw it away! Really? Anything that I thought had to do with you, I threw in the trash can outside, and that includes the clothing chart you made for him, along with some of the clothing I thought you bought for him. All right then, so you're saying that you no longer have any of the things that helped him look as good as he once did? Sandy, please, can you please get Henry back to the handsome-looking man he was before he came over to my apartment? Well, that happens to be your job now, since you are his wife and all. As you had told me before, you happen to know him way better than I do, having been around him since middle school, and so I'm sure you'd be far better at helping him out than I am. Right? Well, about that. Can I at least have you buy him a few more sets of clothing and make up another clothing chart? That's not going to happen. Why not? I am not going to take care of the man who ran off with another girl who asked me to divorce him after. I'm no longer related to anything that has to do with him, but I know someone who is, and that's you, Emily. And another thing, 2 weeks ago I made the choice to transfer. Transfer? Recently I was promoted from department manager into a regional manager, and so I have a change of responsibilities now. So, you were moved to a different location? Yep. I'm very thankful for that as well. Thankful for the divorce, I mean. Because I no longer had to be married to Henry, I was free to do as I pleased, which includes moving to another town. What? So because I'm no longer working in the same office building, I've moved out of that town and am about 2.5 hour drive away. And because I'm now a regional manager, I have even less time to worry about what's going on in the lives of two strangers. No way. The way Henry is right now, if he doesn't change, I'm not going to be happy. Well, if that's the case, then he might need his new wife to start working on some strategies that'll help him get back to the man she loved him as. Good luck with that. A few days after that, due to no longer having me around to support his bad habits, Henry started to have a lot of problems with HR at work due to his poor style and manners. And only a few days after he had been talked to by HR, he and Emily got a divorce. Apparently, the only way the divorce worked out was because Emily had to force him into signing the papers, after he had cried and cried about how he couldn't live without her. Due to the reality that the girl he had always loved since middle school turned her back on him and kicked him out of her life, only a little bit after getting married, Henry has gotten very depressed. And because of this, he never left his place and soon lost his job. When it comes to Emily, she wasn't working at the time she took Henry from me, and so after kicking him out, she no longer had the money to pay her rent, and ran back home to her parents looking for help. But they both told her to get out of their faces as they had disowned her not too long ago. She was last seen running away from her hometown for good, and ever since then, nobody has heard a thing about her.
Hey, Becky. What's with that pile of laundry? What? I can't believe my daughter-in-law slacking off chores like that. How embarrassing. Wait. Don't tell me you entered our house without permission again. I pressed the intercom and also knocked on the door. But no matter how long I waited, you wouldn't open the door. So I used my spare key to get in. Of course, I wouldn't be there to open the door. Unlike you, I have a job. Please don't come to our place on weekdays when we're not at home. You sound as if I don't work. I'm a housewife, and I'm busy with the chores. I didn't mean to offend you. You should quit your job and become a housewife too. Then you wouldn't be making piles of laundry like that. I feel sorry for my son Henry. I'm sorry for showing you our messy house. But piles of laundry don't kill people. I beg your pardon? We both have jobs outside the house, so we decided to do all the housework together on the weekends. Please, don't meddle in our family matters. No, as Henry's mother, I can't remain silent. A wife should always keep the house clean. I think that applies not only to wives, but also to husbands. Huh? We both live in this house. The piles of laundry were made by both of us. If you insist on keeping this house clean so much, you should say so to your son as well. My son's a boy, so he doesn't have to do the chores. What? No matter what era it is, households run better when women do the housework. Yes, just like our family. My husband was always away from home due to business trips. I had to take care of my son by myself. Even so, my son grew up to be a great man, and my husband got a promotion. That's all thanks to me. I don't know how many times I've heard that story. I think it's wonderful that you've done so much for your family. But every family has its own way of doing things. This is how it works for us. Shut up! You think a girl like you can talk back to me? That again. Listen, if you don't want me to enter your house without permission, keep the house perfectly clean. I'm saying this out of love.
Sorry, Becky. Looks like Mom came again.
Did she contact you too?
Yeah, I got a text from her saying, "Don't let your wife do whatever she wants. Rather than live in that dirty house, get a divorce and come back to our house."
What?
Of course, I have no intention of doing that. I'm not going to get a divorce, and I don't think our house is that messy. Besides, I'm the one responsible for today's pile of laundry.
You were in charge of doing the laundry last night.
I was going to do it before going to bed, but I fell asleep on the sofa. I have this afternoon off, so I was going to do it as soon as I got home.
We're both busy with work, but we managed to live our lives like this. What Donna is expecting from me is too much.
Mom's a housewife who's never had a job. Plus, she's a perfectionist who can't overlook a single speck of dust. I think she just can't understand our lifestyle.
Hey, Henry. I think it's time to change the locks. I've reached my limit by having to listen to Donna's lectures.
I'm so sorry that you're going through all this. I'm always warning her to stop, but...
I know, but even if she won't understand, we have no other choice but to use force. I don't want anyone to see our living space without permission. Checking out people's laundry is an invasion of privacy.
You're right. What's the point of warning if they don't change?
And you know what? I didn't tell you, but the other day it was even worse.
What happened?
She finally found her way into our bedroom. I don't know what she was looking for or what she found, but I was so creeped out when she told me to get pregnant soon.
For real?
Like I said, I'm at the point where I can't take it anymore. If this continues, I'm going back to my parents' house.
Wait, just wait on that. I'll change the locks immediately. I'm taking a half day off today, so I'll change the locks and do the laundry. Of course, I'll pay for the entire lock change.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. I mean, you should have told me earlier if something like that happened. I didn't think Mom would go to such lengths.
Sorry. She's your mother after all. I thought it might hurt your feelings if I complained too much.
I appreciate your concern. From now on, I'll put you first, Becky. I'll make your favorite dish for dinner tonight. How about a cream pasta with lots of shrimp?
That makes me so happy. I'll do my best to go home early today. Hey, Becky! What in the world are you doing? What are you talking about? No need to show off your baking skills. Use that time to improve your basic skills as a housewife. What made you think I was showing off my baking skills? That cake in the fridge. What is that? The cream is all messy and the fruits on top are unbalanced. Very unappetizing.
Wait a minute. Don't tell me you broke into our house again. We just changed the locks the other day.
Oh, so that's why I couldn't get in. I was wondering why my key wouldn't work these few weeks.
What?
But I had a feeling that things were going to be different today. I checked the backyard and the patio door was unlocked.
You broke in from the backyard?
But I'm sure the fence was closed. I was able to jump over it. I'm still quite active for my age.
I can't believe you.
That disgusting home-baked cake of yours. Did you think that would make my son happy? Or maybe you wanted me to accept your efforts trying to improve your housewife skills?
Donna, please leave my house right now.
Huh?
Do not touch or look at anything in our house. Just leave without saying anything more.
Oh, are you mad at me for saying disgusting home-baked cake?
Anyone would be angry. You broke into my house without permission, poked around my kitchen, and to top it off, made fun of my homemade cake.
Oh, Becky. You shouldn't have made it in the first place if you didn't want to be criticized.
What?
It's your fault for making such an unappetizing cake. The decorations are so crappy. I couldn't bring myself up to try a bite. Maybe I'll get food poisoned if I eat this.
Huh?
Yes, I'm sure of it. It's such a poorly decorated cake. There's no way it's going to taste good. I'm sure it tastes awful too. I might as well just throw it out and do my son a favor.
Do you know what you're saying?
I threw it away. I'm glad I made it in time before my son ate it.
Wait a minute. You threw away the cake?
Yeah, I just threw it in the trash.
Oh no.
Why are you surprised? Anyone would throw away such a cake. I saved my precious son from getting sick.
I'm going to cut ties with you, Mom.
Who are you?
I'm your son, Henry.
What?
Sorry that cake was poorly decorated. It's my fault since I was the one who decorated it.
Are you really Henry?
I asked my wife to bake that cake for me. I asked her to prepare the cream and fruits so that I can decorate it. The cream was messy, and the fruits on top were unbalanced, right?
Wait. You decorated that cake?
Yeah. After all, it's my birthday today.
Oh.
You're my mother, but you forgot about your son's birthday? I guess you are so focused on daughter-in-law grinding that it slipped off your mind.
It is your birthday today.
Since we got the cake finished, we went out shopping to get my birthday present. Becky suggested she bake the cake this year, so I asked her to let me do the decorating.
Oh no! Then that was your cake!
Do you remember when we made a cake together when I was still in elementary school?
Of course I remember. That was when you were in 3rd grade, right? You were so good at decorating it.
Huh?
I still remember it like it was yesterday. You were so good that it was hard to believe that a 3rd grade boy had made it. There's no way Henry could have made that hideous cake. That cake was actually made by Becky, right? You're just trying to protect her.
What are you talking about? You took that cake from me and redecorated it.
What?
You said, "This decoration is just awful. Give it to me." Then you took off the toppings, removed all the cream, and redecorated the cake to your own satisfaction.
Oh, really?
I remember it very well. I may have sucked at it, but I enjoyed it. Yet, you ruined all the fun I had. So this time, I asked Becky to let me do it.
Oh.
Becky praised my decorations and enjoyed seeing me have fun. That's the kind of birthday I wanted.
Henry?
But you ruined my birthday. Breaking into our house, throwing away our homemade cake, and saying nasty things to my wife. This is the worst birthday I've ever had.
Mom's going to go buy a delicious cake ASAP. Let's redo your birthday together. Let me join you for dinner today.
Who would want to spend time with someone like you? As I already told you, I'm cutting ties with you.
No.
Get the hell out of our house. If you're still there when we get back, I'll call the police.
Please, Becky. Please, help me make things right with my son.
Absolutely not.
Please. I promise I'll never enter your house without permission.
Do you think we can trust your words?
You've been warned by Henry so many times, but you never changed. And today, you broke in from the backyard. So, I promise I won't do that again. I can't believe that my son would cut ties with his own mother. This is wrong.
It's you who made him take drastic measures. This is your fault.
Hey, what's with your attitude? Why won't you help me even though I'm asking so many times?
You don't seem to reflect on your actions enough.
Please! It's so sad that my adorable son is cutting ties with me.
Think again of why it came to this. Reflect on your actions and apologize to us. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Wait, Becky! Then how about I do all the housework for you?
Huh?
You two are both really busy, right? You said you guys were doing all the housework on the weekends.
Yes, after much trial and error, we figured this was the best way for us.
But it would be a shame to end your day off with housework. So, from now on, I'll take over all the housework.
What?
Of course, I won't go into the rooms you don't want me to go into. Tell me if there's anything you don't want me to touch. I'll obey whatever rules you have and take care of everything. How about that?
You really thought we'd be thrilled to have you as our housekeeper?
After all, I'm a housewife. I'm capable of doing all the housework perfectly. It's your fault that made me go to your house to begin with. I visited your home because I was worried about your housekeeping skills. If only you had done the chores properly, I wouldn't have broken into your house. Then, I wouldn't have thrown away my son's cake. But, if I was so worried, I should have taken over and helped you guys. I've been a housewife for 40 years. I'll be an excellent housekeeper. That would make my son and also you happy, wouldn't it? I'll even have a good reason to visit you.
No way. I can't leave our chores to you, who's living in a house full of trash.
What?
Actually, I'm at your house right now.
My house?
Henry said we should inform his father ASAP. I heard your husband no longer goes on business trips. He came back just a few days ago, right?
Well, that's true about my husband. But it's not like my house is always that messy.
Really? The trash on the front porch had magazines from a few years ago. The unwashed dishes in the sink look like they've been there for more than a week.
Plus, the smell. I've never seen a house like this. How were you able to live in a place like this? Oh no! Your husband told me what happened while he was cleaning. Even after we got married and Henry left, your husband still had to work out of state, and you had to live alone. Then, you started to slack off on the housework. As a result, the house is now a mess. Why did you come over to my house without permission? You've done much worse things to me, Donna. At least I had your husband invite us in. I said I'd stop doing that. It's too late for that. Your husband agreed to the fact of us cutting ties with you. What? He said it's better that way for both of us. He said he'd support us if we wanted to move. No! Maybe it wasn't a good idea to live in the same city. I'll take that into consideration when moving out. Wait a minute! You don't want to see me ever again? That's right. Oh no! Before you start telling people what to do, I suggest you do something about this trash house first. Now, if you'll excuse me. I found out later that Donna, my mother-in-law, was originally very bad at household chores. Whenever her husband or her son was away, she hired housekeepers to clean up the house. But now that her husband switched to remote work, he started teaching her how to do the chores properly. Thanks to that, she stopped coming to our place, and I am very happy now. Next year, Henry may get a promotion and we may move to Boston. If that happens, I'll switch to remote work, and we shall have Henry's father support us with the moving.